This is a video showing how to select, copy, cut, and paste data tables in the LibreOffice Writer word processing program, which is a clone or compatible word processor for Microsoft Word. It works very similar to Microsoft Word. It can read and write Word files. For a lot of purposes, it's pretty much like having Microsoft Word, and it has the advantage that it is free and open source, and therefore you can use it and spend considerably less money than the license for Microsoft Word. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm talking here about data tables in the form of text tables. As a word processor, Writer has actual table objects within it. I'll show a little bit about how to convert the text tables to and from those those tables in the Writer, the table objects, but I'm going to focus on the text. So let's say you had some text that looks like this. There's a couple ways to do it. So you can hit down the Alt key and mouse drag. Now notice what I'm doing here is I'm selecting text this way. All right, now I just want to compare that with a normal select, which would be like this. It line selects. But it has a block mode, which you can reach either by doing Alt here. So let's do that. And now I'm going to do it with a menu just to be a little bit clearer, but you can do the copy. So let's start with a copy, which you could do with Control C, but here I'll say copy. And then we'll go down here, and let's say we want this. Again, I'm going to show it with the menu, but you could use Control V, and voila, it copied it right here. All right, so that was a selection, and then I copied. Let's repeat the process here. Now I'm going to show you another way at this point, which is we have a selection mode standard, that's the line select, and we have a block area selection mode. So now we get this without doing the Alt key. We just use the menu, and we have selected this. And now I'm going to cut it. And again, I could use Control X, which is the hotkey, but I will cut it. And you can see it didn't quite work right. That's one of the problems. Let's undo that. And I'm not quite sure why that happened. Again, unfortunately, some of these features are not as good in the Writer as some other programs. So let me try again. We'll be a little bit more aggressive here. So we're going to do selection mode. Again, block area. We're going to go over to here. Well, we don't want that. We'll see if this works better. We're going to do a cut. Okay, we got it right that time. All right, so again, we're going to go down here, and we will paste. I could do that with Control V, but I'm going to do it directly here. And of course, that wasn't right either. Undo, paste clipboard. Okay, let's give ourselves a little bit more room here. And then to avoid problems like that, we can do the following: paste special unformatted text. Okay, so in general, you should paste. I got away with it up here, but in general, you should paste unformatted text. Let me just remind that. Paste special, and you have paste unformatted text option. Okay. So that, in a nutshell, is how to do it. We can actually try paste special unformatted text. Let's see what we get here. So again, it didn't do it quite the way we would like, but this is some of the limitations of this tool. So we can go back and repair it this way. So comment is, if you use Emacs or Notepad++, for example, some coding editors have these block selection features, and they work better than Writer. And I'll show some. So you may want to actually do, if you have access to both, you may actually want to do some of these manipulations in another program, but I just want to show how to do this. All right, so we'll actually repair it and put it back the way it was. I'm now going to use the hotkey Control X, and then we'll just kind of, actually let's put it here. And we will put it here, Control V to paste. So we now have restored our table, and we have a couple copies here. So again, basically we can use either hold down the Alt key and mouse drag to select a table. You may want to make sure to pull a little bit ahead of it over here. The other option is to put the cursor here at the upper left corner of the table. You go selection mode on the edit menu, and you select block area. And now it's in the block mode, and it will select in the same way as if you were holding the Alt key. Either of those will work. You can do a copy, you can do a cut, you can do a paste. And sometimes you have to fiddle around a little bit, which is undesirable, but nonetheless, that's what you can do. And usually it's best to paste the unformatted text. Let me show one other feature. Now, I'll probably do a more in-depth video later on how to do this, but notice up here we have a table. This is for controlling the table objects in in Writer, and it has a feature of convert text to table. Okay, now I'm just going to show what it immediately does here, and it defaults to tabs, so it probably won't do it right, but I just want to show what it does, and then I'll show a couple variations on the idea. Right, see, it doesn't separate them into two columns by doing this. We can do that. Actually, it's another example of some limitations of it. All right, actually one more Z. All right, so there we are. So, okay, as you see, I didn't really do very intelligent things. So I'm going to do something a little bit more sophisticated with it. I'm going to select this area, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this fairly simply. I'm going to replace spaces. Notice I have regular expressions selected, so I can search for what space plus means is one or more spaces. And I want to replace those with a semicolon, and it'll become obvious in a minute why I want to do that. So there we go. Good. All right. Actually, that's pretty close to what I want, but we want to remove the trailing semicolons here. All right. And let me just, I'm going to make sure there's no trailing white space to make it very clean. And I think it actually may have done that correctly. Okay, good. Again, doesn't appear to have trailing white space. So what I'm going to do is replace these. I'm going to replace these semicolons with columns. So let's show how to do this. So we got a table menu again. So again, this is for handling table objects. We want to convert the text to a table. All right. So here we're going to do it's semicolons. It wants to separate the text at the semicolons. We want to capture this heading, date and value, in the first row. And here we go. Let's see. And now we have a table object with a header with date and value and two columns. And it converted, essentially, it's split at the semicolon to give you this. So you can use find and replace, which is either Control H here, but it's also in the menu. And then you can use regular expressions to intelligently manipulate the text data table into a format where the date and table conversion works. And actually, I'm going to try one more thing. We'll hope that this works out okay. So we'll go to table, and again, it has this convert option, and now it can go in the opposite direction. We'll see how well that works. Separate text at semicolons. All right, well, let's see what that does. Bang. So it actually went right back to what I had created. And of course, I can redo this again. Let's see what happens. Here we are. We converted semicolons. We grab the heading, and we convert back there, and we get back to the two-column table. You can see this gives you the ability to manipulate with tables, the table objects in Writer, as well as these text tables, which you might, for example, be getting from another program like a email program or something like that. Maybe somebody sends you something with this data, and actually what you can do in Emacs, for example, or many other programs is, let's see. Okay, I'm going to do it the fancy way, Control X space, and I'm just going to select, we'll get this stuff here, and now I'm going to copy it, which is done with Escape W. You can also use the options in the menu, just like I was showing here. And let's run down here. We'll show this. And let's do Edit, Paste Special. We'll just avoid any fancy formatting problems. And it's come back through here. And then, of course, you could do the same manipulations I was showing before. So, for example, I could do something like this. Okay. So what I might want to do here, I'm just going to do this in a very simple way. You can do fancier things if you want to. So I might want to replace the spaces with a single semicolon in the selection. This is current selection only, and we're using regular expressions. This is a regular expression. It's space followed by a plus sign. The plus sign represents one or more of the preceding pattern, in this case a space. And let's replace all. Okay, that's great. Now, in general, now remember, if we now want to convert this to a table like this, it's going to actually split here and give us a problem. So I'm just going to hand edit it for now, but you could actually replace the semicolons using the regular expressions only at the end. But for now, I'm just going to do something fairly simple. Okay, so we selected this here, and now we go to the table menu again, and we convert text to table. Again, we want to split on the semicolons, and we want to grab the heading again. So this is the heading right here, the first row. We could actually change that, and we're back to here. We've created this again. So finally, just to summarize, after having shown all that table stuff, again, to select, copy, cut, and paste data tables, you can either hold down your Alt key on your keyboard and drag the mouse to do a block selection. You can do that. Or you can go up here in the Edit menu. You go to Selection Mode. You have a block area. And now you can do this as well. Either way will work. And then you do things like Control-C to copy, Control-X to cut, Control-V to paste. This concludes this video presentation. If you like this video, please click like. Please click subscribe and the notification bell if you would like to receive more content from us. You can avoid internet censorship by subscribing directly to our RSS news feed. Please consider sharing the link by email and on your website or blog, in addition to liking, upvoting, or sharing on increasingly censored, advertising beholden, big company social media. We have encountered such censorship. Mathematical software is developing algorithms and software to automate data analysis, reducing the risks of costly errors and increasing the predictive power of the results. You can support our work financially by subscribing on our Patreon page, https://www.patreon.com/mathsoft, or scanning the QR code in the lower right corner.